Good morning, everybody. I just thought I would let you know what I've been up to this last little bit. The last couple days, I've been doing an experiment as far as my solar setup. As most of you know, I have 100% solar and have been off grid for over a month, and that's had its side effects. Uh, we were waiting for our power bill and it never showed up, so Pritchie went in to the power company and thought she would find out what the heck was going on because we didn't get a bill of any kind. And it turns out that for some reason they didn't send us one, and they were charging us 3,000 pesos for power. We were off grid for the entire month, except for approximately 4 hours. And during that 4 hours, I turned off my air conditioning, and all it was on was a couple lights, maybe the fridge cut in, and that's about it. So we used pretty much next to nothing last month. Our meter, I don't believe, moved at all. And the power company figured, oh, well, there must be something wrong with the meter, is what they told us. Well, turns out that so they charged us 3,000 pesos because that's what it used to average over the course of the year. Now, the previous month was only 600 pesos, and they didn't have a problem with that. But it turns out that they don't like the fact that we're not using any power at all. So the wife paid it, and somebody had ripped our meter off the pole. I don't know for sure who did it, but it came in, it happened right around the time of the meter reading, and I will just leave it at that. Turns out that the meter readers could very well be paid by a percentage of what they read off your meter. So needless to say, even if they get 50% of nothing is still nothing. So not real profitable reading my meter. Anyway, that's beside the point. Don't know for sure. But anyway, yep, they give us a bill for 3,000, and they says, well, we got to get our meter remounted and stuff like that. And sure enough, we did. And they says, and the guys will come out to take care of it from the power company. So, of course, being the fact that they told us that the meter was at fault, I thought, okay, they're going to replace my meter. Well, lo and behold, they didn't do that. They left the meter intact, and with a big hole in the top of it so that rain could get in. So I taped that up to keep the rain out. And so now we're trying to use a little bit of power. So I did an experiment, and just to see, because I've never seen if my battery charger on my hybrid inverter would actually start charging my batteries. So I thought, well, there's only one way to find that out. So I turned off my solar array, used as much power as I possibly could over the course of, it took 2 days. The first day it didn't quite get there, and I didn't want this to take place in the middle of the night when I'm not monitoring it, just in case things didn't go the way they were supposed to. So after the first day, we got it down pretty low. And so I thought, okay, I'll turn the solar back on, let it charge up a little bit, and then go through the night and make sure in the morning, bright and early, is when I will get down to 48.5 volts, which is when the battery charger is supposed to kick in. Okay, so I did that, and everything seems to be working fine. Although at right around that level, it started taking power from the grid and only charged up the batteries a tiny little bit. But either way, if the grid was live, we'd be survivable until the sun came up. So I thought, okay, enough's enough. That's good. And so I turned the solar back on. And yesterday was a nice sunny day, and we ended up charging, or total consumption of solar yesterday was 37.8 kilowatts. which is a record for my system. It's never had to produce that much in one day. But it produced it all with no problem at all, and it was done by early afternoon. So I had lots more charging available if required. So, yep, all things considered, it was a very, very good experience. Found out that my batteries are capable of giving me power back pretty much to the full 22 kilowatts as promised by the battery, which is good considering that the voltages are cut back so that it doesn't use all of its power. So all things considered, it's actually doing better than spec. So very happy with everything. But yeah, so that's our update. So now we're just waiting for our next power bill. And if they decide that they're going to charge us again, we're just going to say, shut it off. We're going totally off grid with no grid backup whatsoever, and I'll just buy a little generator for the once a year or whatever, that, or who knows, maybe never use it. But I'll just run it occasionally just to keep it functional. But yeah, so on that note, that's pretty much it for today. As you can see, the sun is starting to rise. It's starting to get a little brighter out. My solar is actually, even in this brightness, is starting to produce a little bit of power. All is good here in the Philippines. Thanks for joining in on my little bit of a rant about my experience with our wonderful Noreco 2. Yep, I've heard they're doing this to other people as well, and they don't send you a bill, and in a very short order, another thing I found out, in a very short order, if you don't pay it after you receive it, like, I can't remember the exact time frame, but it's not even a month, they will cut your power off. Well, in hindsight, maybe that would have been the way to go, but we'll see what happens this month. I have used a little bit of power, the meter has moved, so maybe they'll be happy again. They won't be happy with the fact I'm using next to nothing, because I don't even think we've used a kilowatt yet. But we'll see what happens. I'm thinking on putting a light and hook it straight to the grid, yard light at the entrance to my gate, so it'll run off grid power so that we can use a little bit, maybe a couple kilowatts a month anyway. So other than that, that's it for today. Progress is still going on the little house. It's not complete yet. Progress on on our kitchen is pretty much at a standstill, but we've got the guy that's supposed to be doing that working on the electrical on the house, and he's doing a fantastic job. It looks really, really good. So yeah, things are going. We're supposed to get our doors for the little house this week coming up, and we're supposed to, I got the lights for it, and hopefully, I'm hoping that within the next week it will be 100% complete. So, and then at that point I'll give you guys a look at it and see what you think. The workmanship isn't quite what I thought it would be, but hey, that's the Philippines. Thank goodness our guy doing the electrical, our handyman that we get here quite a bit, he's very thorough, and he also knows the expectations of foreigners here in the Philippines because he's worked with lots of them, and he's awesome, and he's been telling the guys that, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, otherwise you're not going to have a happy client. And he's pointed out a few things that they haven't failed to do, and he says, look, that's just not safe and nowhere near expectations of foreigners. You might be able to get away with it with a Filipina person, but you're not going to get away with it with foreigners. So all things considered, it's working out good. He's kind of looking after things for us. He's got a little bit more free time now, so he's working harder on our stuff, and with any luck at all, the side that he's working on now will be 100% complete before we fly back to Canada for our visit. And things are looking good. And he's going to maintain working on the other side, and hopefully it'll be done by the time we get back, because he'll just work in here, and my father-in-law is going to be looking after the place for us while we're gone. But as it stands right now, we're still scheduled to come to Canada, unless our fearless leader our Canadian leader decides to do any stupid stuff, in which case my flights can be canceled if required. But yeah, so that's it for today, and a little longer than I was hoping it would be. But you guys all take care out there, play safe, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss any videos. I know I've been kind of erratic as far as making them, but I don't know, I've kind of not losing interest, but just trying to figure out what to put on here, and hopefully that'll generate some views, but can't think of much. Haven't been going out much, been kind of staying home. It's been a quiet week. All right, we'll talk at you later. Bye for now.